Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the fourth group consists of Eldiana Ardiwijaya, Muhammad Azizin, and me Raulina Suci Maharani. Today we will present about our material which is opening the door to international communication, Peruvian officials, and APEC. So first things first, the introduction to Peruvian officials and APEC. So in 2008, it was Peru's turn to host APEC. So actually, what is APEC? APEC is Asia Pacific Economic Corporation. So APEC is a grouping of 21 economies in the Asia Pacific region such as China, Japan, Korea, Canada, Australia, and so on. So it is currently accounts for over 40% of world trade and more than half of the world's GDP. So each year, one of the member economies takes on the challenge of hosting several months of APEC committee meetings on a wide range of trade-related issues. So in here, because the previous APEC is conducting by the New Zealand, and New Zealand was success in hosting it, the Peruvian government asked the New Zealand government to provide an English language training course for 30 of its officials who would be playing a variety of roles in APEC meetings throughout 2008. So New Zealand government agreed to fund 20 weeks program for 2 intakes of official through NZAD. The second one, we will discuss about NZAD and Pilot Language Training Project or ELTP. What is NZAD? NZAD is New Zealand Aid Program. It is New Zealand government's international aid and development program within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. So this NZAD appointed Victoria Link, a project management company associated with Victoria University. It is to design and manage a program for 2 intakes of Peruvian government officials between July 2006 and June 2007. And then the Victoria University is contract by NZAD to design and deliver the language component of the program. The program is called Pilot Language Learning Project or ELTP. Actually, there are 5 stakeholders involved in this project. There are NZAD, Victoria Link, the English Language Institute, ELI, and the 30 Peruvian official. So it is the goal of NZAD making this program. The first one is building Peru's capacity for good governance. The second one is enhance the capacity of the official to develop English language skill they require to order to be effective participant in APEC 2008. And then what is the indicator of achievement of this objective? It is the course participant would improve their international English language testing system or IELTS overall test scores by between half a band and 1 band from the starting point between 4.0 and 5.0 for the first group and 5.0 and 7.0 for the second group. Here are some challenges facing by the ELTP course design. The first one is finding an effective ways to help the course members develop language skill for the APEC context. The second one is how to improve their IELTS score, and the last one, how to meet the learning objective. The third one, we will discuss the ELTO approach, because one of the focus on ELTP project is IELTS score of Peruvian official. So the ELTP course design team was to find effective ways to help the course member develop their language skill and also improve their IELTS score so they can meet their learning objectives. This ELTO also funded by NZAD. It is to help officials develop their English language skill. They required to do their job in APEC meeting. So ELTO official, which is actually ELY, had been running for many years. It is the model of form highly successful program for Southeast Asia government officials. The goals of ELTO is to develop the required English language skill to do their jobs effectively, particularly when representing their country's view in international forum. So in here, IELTS score is set down to measure their language, their success of the program. So training IELTS strategies had been incorporated once trained of their course. And the last one, the ELTO teachers regard the ELTP as companion program and readily agree that ELTP course member could take part in their IELTS class. Then, here is the ELTO approach that used in Peruvian officials. Because the issue of IELTS preparation resolved so satisfactorily in 30 Peruvian officials, the ELTP teachers took a close look at the way that the ELTO program went about developing the English language skill of each participant. And the second one, the ELTO used content-based approach, with the content taking the form of set of reading written by the teachers. Because the teacher prepared the reading, they were able to use vocabulary and grammatical structure that were accessible to their students, whereas automatic text on the short of subject that were the focus of the ELTO program. The next slide will be delivered by my friend Azizin.
Okay, right now it's my turn. Today, our topic is talk about Peruvian official and APEC. Okay, it has been talking by Raulina, that is Peruvian government as a helping from New Zealand government, that is to provide an English language training program for 30 officials in 2008. Okay, here my turn is talk about the need analysis. In the need analysis, there are 3 points. Okay, look at this point that are lacks, want, and necessity. Okay, the first talk about lacks. Sizable number of the officials didn't know exactly what duties they would have. Okay, so some officials didn't know about the duties. Here we found of the data by the questionnaire. Okay, the questionnaire held by ELTP teacher were busy preparing the regarding for the first model, right? Zaid or New Zealand IELTS understood to find out about for the learning and content objective for the first intake course members. Okay. The second one is about some of officials didn't work in areas associated with the international trade or economic and have little or no knowledge of APEC. This means the reading for the second and the third models would need grounding in APEC goals, practice, and culture. To write this model, the teacher drew the comprehension information on the APEC website. Okay, academic article on the international trade issue and the support of officials from the Ministry of Trade. Okay, the second ones we talk about the want. Second point one, acquiring language and skill for their APEC duties, whatever from the mate states. Okay, they are connected like and want because of they have some of the like, so they want to improve about their language and the skill of the APEC of duties because they don't know about the knowledge of APECs. Okay, the second point one, improve their IELTS score because this would almost certainly enhance their career prospects. Why it must be IELTS score? Because of what? Because improvement in ELTO program was also funded by ZAID, New Zealand, and its goal was to help officials develop the English language skill they require to do their job effectively. Improvement the ELTO for this job effectively, will mostly use IELTS as down one of the measures of the success of the program. So training in IELTS strategies have been incorporated as one straight in their course. Okay. The next point that talk about necessities, taking the part in discussion and decision making process of APEC working group and committees. Okay, this one of the necessity we found by the teacher of ELTP, that is by some of the interview. The next one is about assigned service roles, such as providing security or meeting needs of their APEC visitor in terms of facilities, administration, translation, and information about Peruvian tourist site and local products. Okay, and the next one, we talk about some of model implementation from New Zealand. Okay, here the ELTP, English Language Training Program team map out 9 topics to be covered the 3 6 weeks models. The first is an introduction to New Zealand and language learnings. The second, an overview of trade policy and introduction to the APECs. The third is multilateralism and preparing for the APECs. Okay. Focus of model 1, introduce the officials. There no environment, not only New Zealand but also the learning environments. So in the end of the first module, they would feel at home in both contact and be ready for the professional focus. Okay, here for in module 1, they know, for examples, the member of the first intake were the people in the 30s, 40s who had completed their formal study in university some time ago and were now well established in their careers. So becoming a learning again would be a new experience on the basis. Okay, there are ratings designed for module 1 and that will introduce some of visuals. Okay. The next one is module 1 and module 2. Module 1 in module 2, the teacher include professional speaking strength, which of the course member practice the sort of the small talk that plays an important in official forums such as APECs. While in module 3, informal series of education with university staff and graduate students from the 7 Asian member economy of APEC was arranged so that the official could learn about the culture, does and don't when interacting with the people from the economic. The focus was on Asian culture because the officials expression concerned about their like and familiarities with them. Okay, for another one, there are 2 points emerging from this interview. The first was that among the officials who had been taught with their roles at APEX, would be there was considerable disorder. Some had been assigned service roles, such as providing security or meeting the needs of their APEC visitor in the terms of facilities, administration, transition, and information about prevention race.
Tailored course to meet the needs. The first one is extra listening classes, provided during the first module. As listening was an area of relative weakness for most of the officials, and it was also a skill which all of them signaled as being important. Second, tailoring in the form of well-intentioned social engineering, introducing some variety into their class-based influence activities. Contact was made with a group of skilled migrants who were studying on a program designed to improve their knowledge of language and cultural practices in the New Zealand workplace. At the end of the first program, there was an opportunity for the teachers to give future directions and management. In terms of course content, a balance will be struck between what and the how of APEC or APEC. As it turned out, though the dichotomy which had been a feature of the first intake was non-existent in the second, with the official saying that most of the logistical duties involved in hosting APEC were being contracted to firms in the private sector. The Peruvian authorities asked that more content about APEC be included in the course of the second group of officials. Third, teachers increased the number of guest lecturers about APEC and incorporated BBC and Radio New Zealand's documentaries about international trade issues in the program. Expanding the APEC content, the officials were given more opportunities to practice the formal speaking skills that they would need at APEC through discussion groups and the APEC simulation activity. The conclusion, the first one is the majority of officials successfully increased in their IELTS scores. Second, some officials even promoted when they returned home, and it seems that their IELTS results played a part in this. Third, the first intake gave the course a strongly positive evaluation, and the second group indicated that the course helped them to learn while they were in New Zealand and stimulated them to go on learning in the future. The last, the officials were very successfully managing Peru's hosting of APEC. It was gratifying to hear that the course participants handled their APEC duties well, because this was the ultimate test of the appropriateness of the course design. Thank you.